I'm Victoria Moran, and I was told to allow no dead air. So, no dead animals on the plate, no dead air from the platform. I will be introducing myself on this lovely almost spring day. I've been a vegan for 29 years. I left 65 pounds back there a long time ago. I do this for the animals, and the animals have given me an amazing life, great health, and lots of gifts that I would never have expected would come from just changing what goes on my plate. So what I want to know from those of you who are here is just who you are and what you need to hear in the next 20 minutes from me. So who is already vegan? Who is completely converted? Okay, that's the choir. Who is vegetarian? Moving veganward. Okay, hi. And who is veg curious? Okay. Who was drugged here by a friend or relative and would rather be somewhere else? Okay. Honesty is a very, very good policy. Okay. This is my newest book. It's called Main Street Vegan, and that title is on purpose. I want to get closer to you. Okay, because there was a time when we thought that vegans were this special little kind of left-wing other group out there. They were leftover hippies, and they were people who lived in Madison and Berkeley and Austin. And it's great to have vegans in Madison and Berkeley and Austin and the East Village, but you can't save all the animals with only half the people. I wrote Main Street Vegan because it is high time that we show up on Main Street, USA, and you know what? That's what we're doing. It's so thrilling. When I started out in this work back in the 80s, everybody thought that maybe one day we would get all the Unitarians and all the NPR listeners. But the idea that we have actually got regular people with regular jobs and families and mortgages, this is a really good thing, because if we're going to change the world, it's going to take a lot of folks. So what I want to share with you today is an acronym for the word vegan. Now, who likes the word vegan? Who thinks it's a good word? I like it a lot. Now, a lot of people and a lot of vegans don't like it because they think it has baggage. So they want to use other kinds of words. So a lot of people will use a phrase like plant-based. Well, that to me doesn't say anything. I was talking to my daughter, who's 29 years old and a lifelong vegan, and I said, you know, a lot of people aren't using the V word, and they're saying plant-based. She said, that sounds like people who eat a lot of salad and smoke a lot of pot. I want people to know what I stand for, and that is to be vegan. So I want to give you an acronym. Every letter of that word means something, and you can take that home and use it either to get closer to the vegan-vegetarian fold, if that's what you're curious and interested in, or if you're already there, it'll help inspire you with your activism, your enthusiasm, and your energy. So, the first letter of the word vegan is V for validate your choices. And what that means is learn enough so that when people ask you things, you'll be able to answer their questions. Now, why do you have to do that? It's totally unfair. You shouldn't have to validate your choices to anybody. But whenever you do something different, people want to know about it. So if you are born in a religion and you stay in that religion for the rest of your life, nobody is ever going to come up to you and say, why on earth are you still Episcopalian? What are you doing still practicing Judaism? Nobody will ask that. That's what's expected of you. But if you do something different, you're going to expect that people will say, okay, just tell me everything that made you want to become a Mormon. And if all you can say is, I like Mitt Romney, that's not going to bring anybody over. That's not going to educate anybody about this thing that you believe in. And that's not going to help people know that you're serious. So you need to learn a few things about being vegan. Mostly you need to learn to answer the one question that you will be asked every day until death do you part. And that is, where do you get your protein? Now, they don't want a soliloquy. They don't want a nutrition textbook. They want a sound bite. And then if they want to know more, they'll ask. So when somebody says, where do you get your protein? You say, what a great question. I used to wonder that too. Do you know that protein is in everything that grows up out of the ground? Soundbite. Did you know that the only way to be protein deficient in America these days is if you are anorexic, alcoholic, or if you eat absolutely nothing but fruit or junk food? Or how about, I get my protein firsthand. Plant protein is what grew the cow, the buffalo, the elephant. Isn't it amazing that I can be big and strong on protein from plants as well? That's enough. You don't need to give them a sermon. Learn about calcium. Same thing. You're getting your calcium from the greens. Calcium comes in dirt, but we can't eat dirt. So the dirt translates the minerals through the greens into something that we can eat or something that a cow can eat, and then we get the calcium second, third hand. Why not first hand? You learn a little something, you validate your choices, and then you're up for any question that anybody can ask. And if you don't have an answer, say, wow, that's an interesting question. I don't know. Let's do some research. Let's try to find that out. You don't have to be brilliant. You just have to be informed. So, E, from the word vegan, is embody your healthy choices. Embody a healthy lifestyle. Now, what does that mean? Are you supposed to be super person? No, I am just getting over the flu. Now, there was a time that I wouldn't even have admitted that because I felt like the whole reputation of veganism depended upon my being perfect at every moment of every day. Guess what? I am not perfect. I am never going to be perfect. In fact, I got a lovely email from someone who heard me speak at the New York Vegetarian Food Festival a couple of weeks ago. And when I told him I'd been sick, he said, we are super vegans, we are not superhuman. On the other hand, you do need to be as healthy as you can possibly be. And that means eat good food, get enough sleep, get some exercise. Does it really matter? Is it anybody's business but yours? In a way, no. But just like that person that converts to Jehovah's Witnesses or whatever else, once you do that, you kind of speak for the group. So you want to be out there being healthy and energetic and having an aspirational life. You want people to look at your life as a whole and say, wow, I like what I see. What are you doing? And then they're going to find out what you're eating, how you're living. So it's kind of a double-edged sword. On the one hand, you do want to eat healthy food. Now, when I became vegan, you had to eat healthy food because there was nothing else out there. We didn't have donuts and marshmallows and cheese that melted and 15,000 different kinds of vegan cupcakes. And now we do. And that's great because you'll run into somebody who'll say, oh, wow, I could never be a vegan because I just really could never give up marshmallows. And how cool is it that we can say, and you don't have to. This is all good. However, the vegan marshmallow, the vegan cupcake is just like the birth control pill. These things have brought a great deal of pleasure and a great deal of freedom into the world, but misused, you will not respect yourself in the morning. Cupcakes are not a food group. The 5 vitality food groups for people who eat from the plant kingdom are vegetables, fruits, whole grains, legumes, and nuts and seeds. The best vegetables are the green vegetables. I tell people your plate ought to look like a Christmas tree, mostly green with splashes of other bright colors. So eat healthy, but on the other hand, don't get so health obsessed that you are an absolute nut about it. The nuts are supposed to go in your smoothies and your nut butters and your salad dressing. They're not supposed to describe your personality. And we've all known these people who have what the psychologists now are calling orthorexia. That means they're so worried about eating something that isn't super healthy that either they just go the other way and eat only junk food, or they just stop eating things. And foods become so evil. I don't eat oil. I don't eat bread. I don't eat pasta. I don't eat rice, it has arsenic in it. I don't eat soy, it's questionable. I don't eat, it's just like by the time you don't eat anything, there's nothing left to eat. So be on that lovely middle path. Sure, eat healthy, but live in the world. Enjoy your food. Enjoy your life. This is supposed to be a happy-making way of being. G in the word vegan, get to know other vegans. Most of us are fun, interesting, and intelligent. Some of us are nuttier than fruitcakes, and a few of us are jerks. But that is the way it is in any group of human beings. So get to know us, if for no other reason, then at some point you kind of get tired of being the one who's different. You get tired of being the one that everybody says, oh, we have to go to the ethnic restaurant, or we have to go to the vegetarian restaurant. How nice it is to have at least some of your friends say, whoa, there's a new vegan restaurant, want to go, and everybody is as excited as you are. So get to know the people at these tables. New York City has the biggest vegetarian meetup in the world. 7,000 member vegetarian meetup, and they do all sorts of things, and you can have lots of fun that way. So you're going to get to know us, and then A in the word vegan is for add. That is add more to your life than you subtract. And this is actually my favorite, because what happens when somebody does this is they'll go vegan and they'll get very, very orthodox about it, and somebody will say, just out of curiosity, okay, so what is this deal? What's this vegan thing you do? And the person says, well, as a vegan, you don't eat any meat or any eggs, and that includes eggs in baked goods, and you don't eat any dairy products, and that includes cheese, and that includes pizza, and you don't eat any fish, and you don't eat any fowl. And if you're a real vegan, you don't eat any honey. And if you're an ethical vegan, you don't wear any fur or leather or wool or silk. Do you know that you lost him way back there at pizza? This poor person is waiting for you to say, and we don't have sex, and we don't take vacation, and we don't do anything fun. That is not the way to get people interested in what you're doing. So when people say to me, what is this vegan thing? I say, do you know what? It is, second to having my daughter, the coolest thing I have ever done in my entire life. Who would ever think that just by changing the way that I eat, I would lose tons of weight without dieting. I would get to be 63 years of age and look and feel like I never thought 63 would look and feel. And have this wonderful feeling in my heart that knowing what I know about the way animals are raised, what goes on at slaughterhouses, that I'm not supporting that. I just feel so lucky that I learned about this when I did. And what's going on with you? You know, the less you push, the more people will want to draw you out and come to know more. So you want to add to your life. So in terms of food, this means adding all sorts of wonderful new fruits and vegetables. I love to go to Chinatown and just find out what all this produce is. I've never seen most of it before, but I know it's going to be good and interesting. I love to go to different kinds of restaurants and experience different kinds of foods. I want to go down to the Lower East Side to Moose Shoes and buy fabulous boots. I have a great boot story. I'm not wearing them today, but last year I was down at Moose Shoes. Do y'all know Moose Shoes? It's a vegan shoe store. And they had this fabulous pair of boots, but it was very expensive. And I thought, no. But I kept thinking about them on the train on the way home, because they were ultra suede and they come over the knee, and then you can fold over the cuff and it's periwinkle blue. Well, I was in the subway and my guardian angel talked to me and she said, Victoria, and I said, yes. She said, you are almost too old for over the knee ultra suede boots with a periwinkle cuff. Almost, not quite. Act while there is still time. So the next day, I went to Moose Shoes and I bought the fabulous boots. And now every time I wear them, people will say to me, amazing boots. And I say, thank you, and they're vegan. Or they'll say, those are stunning boots. And I say, thank you, and they're vegan. Or they say, whoa, mama. And I say, thank you, and they're vegan. So this is a way to have your activism on your body all the time. So add wonderful things to your life. Live in a way that people want what you've got. And finally, N. N stands for never forget the animals. Now, there are lots and lots of reasons to be vegan. You can go vegan because you want to save this planet, and there's probably nothing more important than that. You can be vegan because you want to save some money. You can be vegan because you want to lose some weight or look prettier or impress your doctor or not get the diseases that your parents and grandparents had. And that's all valid. But there is somebody who has more interest in what goes on your plate than you do. Because the truth is, for you, it's just one meal. I mean, what does it matter if you have one thing or something else? We all know people who eat some animal products and who are perfectly healthy. But that animal is invested in your meal in a way that we'll never be able to understand. Now, I was going to read to you the story of the cow from Main Street Vegan, but I'm having trouble finding it, so I'm just going to tell you her story. Years ago, I was living in the central Missouri Ozarks, feeling very out of place, as you might imagine. And I was saying to a woman that I knew there, I really wish that I could go to a slaughterhouse someday, because I'm vegan and I talk about slaughterhouses being so bad, but I've never been to one. What do I know? She said, well, my husband has a friend who owns a slaughterhouse, and if you smile real pretty, he'll just show you anything you want to see. So I went undercover as a home economics graduate student, and this man took me through hell the way Virgil escorted Dante. I'll never forget the smells or the sounds. I'll never forget the workers and how my heart went out to them. I did not go into that place that day expecting to have sympathy for the workers, but I have tremendous sympathy for them because they spend their days standing ankle deep in blood, working in a refrigerator. And people say, well, they should work somewhere else. You know, they don't have that option. This is a tiny Missouri town that a long time ago was bypassed by the railroad and then by the interstate. There is no place else for them to go. But the memory that stays in my mind and in my heart after all these years is of one single cow. You know, the numbers are staggering. The billions and billions of land animals and billions more sea animals that are killed every year for human consumption. But it's hard to relate to billions. We can relate to one. This cow was a used-up dairy cow from a family farm. That means that she knew people and she trusted them. So it was the end of the day, and there were the last few animals being led up the plank to have the captive bolt pistol stun them before they're slaughtered. And the others are just walking up, following one after another. But this particular cow was not going to have anything to do with it, and she stopped right there, halfway up. And the man who was working at the top of the plank whistled to her. He whistled to her the way he would whistle to his dog when he went home that night. Her ears perked as if she was saying, now wait a minute, all my instincts are telling me that I'm hearing screams and I'm smelling blood, and you're telling me it's okay? She went with her trust in this person instead of with her instincts and walked to her death. Now, when her parts and pieces showed up at a market in St. Louis, they were bought by very good people, nice people, people like us, or people like we were 5-10 years ago. But they didn't know her, and they didn't see her leave this life having just exhibited a very human trait, trust. But I was there, and because I was, it's my responsibility to tell you her story. So in all your decisions, and you're free to make whatever decisions you want, just remember that somebody else has a stake in what you decide to have for breakfast and lunch and dinner. Somebody else has a stake in the kind of cosmetics you buy, the kind of household products, the kind of coat you buy. Just think about them. As Schweitzer said, every now and then, allow yourself to remember the suffering which is shielded from your sight. So let's go back over our acronym. We are going to be vegan, or we're going to be on the way to vegan, or we're going to be Meatless Monday, or we're going to be wherever we are on this thing. We're going to take the first wonderful steps into this grand adventure. You're going to do that by validating your choices, and that means learning from people at all these tables, reading, going online. I'm over there on that side with Main Street Vegan, and also with my book, The Love Powered Diet, which is about how I lost all the weight. Would be happy to talk with you, sign books. I also have flyers about Main Street Vegan Academy, which is a 5-day training program for vegan lifestyle coaches. So if you are enthused about this whole idea and you want to be able to share it with audiences, share it one-on-one with clients and actually get paid for it, be happy to talk with you about Main Street Vegan Academy. It happens right here in New York City. We have an amazing faculty, and we have the most fun field trips because New York City is Disneyland for vegans. We're very, very lucky to be here in a time and a place where it's not only uplifting and enlightening, it's actually easy and a whole lot of fun. Thank you all for being here today. Does anybody, thank you. Does anybody know what time it is?
2:41.
How much? 20 to 3. Okay, then I'm supposed to stop talking. Thank you so much. All the best.
Dùng nấu có bỏ xíu rồi